Hello and welcome back to JankTech. It's my series on Star Wars Unlimited with focus on all things non-meta, non-sweaty. Well, I guess after I'm done with this, we'll see if anyone still thinks I'm not sweaty. No, the worst. Oh, it's a fate worse than death. Sweatiness. Okay, before I get it started, I'm just asking y'all again to please like and subscribe. It makes me feel so good to know people are still enjoying these. I love making them. I'm going to keep cranking this stuff out and no disintegrations. Okay, just a quick shout out to my two favorite Star Wars Discords. We've got swupdx, which is a Pacific Northwestern based Discord. We talk about events. Y'all may have noticed we had a certain sector event around here. Yes, we did. Events, card previews, decks, all that great stuff. And of course, the Nightsisters Discord, a women's Star Wars space where we just have an awesome group of people that talks about whatever Star Wars or non-Star Wars stuff goes through our heads. But we don't shy away from sweaty stuff either. We just had a couple of players actually go first and second in one of our local showdowns. So I think that's really cool. Way to go, y'all. Okay, on with the show. What are we doing today? Well, your girl also went to sectors, and I brought a Piet red deck. But if you know anything about these competitive events, it's a lot. A lot of people are bringing meta, competitive, and if you played in this, you would have seen a lot of people using Han Solo, a lot of Han Solo decks, whether that's Han Solo from the first set, whether that's Han Solo from the second set. It's just Han is a great leader in the competitive meta, and so a lot of people play him. And of course, I got kind of sick of playing Han decks because he's just too good, dang it. But I was just like, well, what would happen if we took the top Han Solo decks and jammed them together into a big Frankenstein Twin Suns deck? And I think it turned out actually real good. Okay, so what do we have here? We have got JankTech. Mini Hans make light work, aka too many Hans spoil the soup, aka it takes Han to no Han, aka get your Hans off me. So we're going to be taking advantage of our ability to resource cheat to get big stuff out faster than everyone else. We're going to have a super cool explosive deploy turn, and there's going to be some fun, weird resource juggling tricks, some cards that we never get to use ordinarily. So yes, these were greatly influenced by the Han SOR Blue Force and Han Shadows Blue Force decks, but I fleshed them out with cards that work well in Twin Suns. And yeah, I think we got something kind of cool going on here. So let me know what y'all think. And also if you've got any more dumb Han Solo dad jokes that could have been the title of this deck, because I would love to know more of them. So what are our leaders going to do? So our original flavor Han Solo Classic. Action, exhaust him, put a card from your hand into play as a resource and ready it at the start of the next action phase. Defeat a resource you control. He deploys at 6, and on attack, put the top card of your deck into play as a resource and ready it at the start of the next action phase. Defeat a resource you control. So, important distinction. The cards come from your hand when he is on his leader side and from the top of your deck when he is deployed. And if you are not watching what you are doing with this Han, you can run out of cards real fast if you are continuing to use them as resources. What is really cool about this, and this is something that the meta decks do, is you can put villainous aspect cards into your resources from your hand if you want to use them to make the Anakin LOF unit better. So we'll talk about that again once we get there. So the cool thing about this Han is that you can potentially end up with 2 extra resources on your deploy turn, and you can just go nuts. You can play stuff that you shouldn't be playing if you were playing on curve. And then we are pairing him, of course, with young Han. Or is that new Han? Well, he's not new Han because there's a newer Han after this. Whatever. We got young Han. We got Han Classic. Action, exhaust him, play a unit from your hand. It costs 1 resource less. Deal 2 damage to it. And then, of course, this Han deploys on 5 instead of 6. Which is where the other one deploys. He's younger. Come on. Action, play a unit from your hand. It costs 1 less. Deal 2 damage to it. So you get to do that as much as you want instead of just once per round. So you are going to see where we're going with this. We're going to cheat resources out with one Han. We're going to use this Han to play units at a discount. Life's going to be good. We're pairing it with the Blue Force deck, because that allows us to get stuff like Anakin and Luke and all kinds of other BS out as quickly as possible. So let's get going with the list. We got 81 cards. Is JankTech going meta? Say it's not so. We're not meta. It's Twin Suns. There's no metas in Twin Suns until we start doing competitive events. God willing, hopefully we get some competitive events. So I think swupdx is in the middle of an update, so the cards are a little bit small, so I will be opening them up in a new window and then clicking back. Hopefully I'll remember to close them all because I don't need 81 cards just clogging up the works. Okay. So we got a bunch of ground units. 2-1B surgical droid. On attack, you may heal 2 damage from another unit. Well, what a coincidence. That's the amount of damage that young Han is putting on something. So then we can swing with 2-1B, heal it up. It's going to be grand. Owen Lars, you know him, you love him, you hate to see him. 1 cost, 0-3, restore 2. When defeated, search the top 5 cards of your deck for a Force unit, reveal it, and draw it. There's a bunch of Force decks in here. That's why we're running a Force base. Owen, there's a couple of things that are great about Owen. You can play him for free with our Red Han's ability. He's got restore, so it's worth attacking with him, even if you're not doing any damage. And then he's got a cool when defeated, so people aren't going to want to kill him. But they know, like, if you don't kill him, then you're just going to just restore all the time. I love this card in this deck. You don't care if he's damaged when you play him because you want him to die. But you also want the restore. You can't lose. Grogu, irresistible. Yes, this little turd's in there. You can get him out for 1 resource with some damage on him. You can use him to exhaust stuff. He's just such a great card in Twin Suns for making the board slow down, for getting somebody's any unit out of play. Like, yeah, I think he's awful when somebody else plays him, but when I play him, it's like cute and interesting. Kashyyyk Defender, you gotta have Wookiees, all right? Like, come on, like Han has to have some Wookiees in his deck. So this is a 0-5 with grit. When played, heal up to 2 damage from another unit and deal that much damage to this unit. So if we have a unit that's already had damage dealt to it from Red Han's ability, this one can heal it and get gritted up. You can play it for 1 if you want to grit it up if no one else has damage to heal. You can put up to 4 damage onto this when you play it if something else is already damaged. I think this is real cool. Being able to play it for 1 is also really, really cool. Of course, we got to have the Loth Wolf in here. It's just a Sentinel. A 3/3 Sentinel, yeah, you're not going to be able to attack with it, but it buys you time and clogs up the board and encourages people to attack your other stuff. Nightsister Warrior, you could play this as a... it's essentially pay 1 to draw a card. But she's useful at getting you the Force. She looks really cool. And we don't have to instantly kill everything in here. So if you're going to have a turn 1 play, this is not a bad one because, again, people aren't going to want to kill it because it gets you some card draw. And this was one of my criteria for adding cards to this deck besides the ones that were already in the premier meta lists. We need card draw. We want card draw. We want to make sure that we can use Han Classic's ability to play a card from our hand as a resource that will get defeated. And Card draw is what helps us do that. We don't want to run out of cards with Han. You run such a risk of, if you overuse his ability, you just won't have any plays. So you don't want to use the Han classic put a card from your hand into play as a ready resource ability every round, because you will quickly run out of stuff. But getting enough card draw from your other cards will enable you to do this on the turns where it's absolutely critical. And Night Sister Warrior, of course, helps that. Secretive Sage, such a good turn one play. This one I'd say don't deal the damage to. Just play it at its cost. He's got a shield. You're almost guaranteed to get the force with it. Of course, yeah, it's Twin Suns. So people could always gang up on you and say, okay, I'll knock off the shield and then you swing into the lizard. But who's going to commit to helping someone else hit your lizard? It's like 2 units from 2 different players getting rid of a 2-cost unit. I don't think so. So this guy gets you the force, almost guaranteed. Love it. Yaddle, of course, Yaddle is great. You can play Yaddle at a discount because she's got a big butt. Restore 1 on attack. Each other friendly Jedi gains restore 1 for this phase. We've got a bunch of Jedi in this deck. The restore is so good. Yaddle is fantastic. The more big butt early plays we get just enable us to control the board early. If you can play Yaddle for 1, you can play something else for your other 1 resource, or you could use your Han Classic ability to get a 2nd resource out, get 2 units out on your first turn. It's not the worst if you can support it with card draw. Ezra Bridger, Attuned with Life. 3/5 for 3 on attack. You may give an experience token to another creature or specter. I think that this Ezra is mostly in this list because he's got a big butt. You can cheat him out early with Han, with Red Han. Even if he's got some damage on him, he's still got a bunch of health left. You can get the force to enable your force BS. So yeah, he's like a really, really good unit. I feel like this is kind of indicative of the direction they've been saying they want to go with this game. Like, we want big butt units. Well, this is a big butt unit. There's not a whole lot of creatures and specters in here, so most of what he's going to be doing is getting you the force and just doing damage, but that ain't nothing, y'all. Grogu, it's the other Grogu. Oh my god, this Grogu is the friggin' worst. I played a game of Twin Suns the day before I recorded this video where there was a targeted effort by one player in particular to continuously capture this Grogu. And that player was 100% right to focus that energy on removing Grogu. Grogu, 1/6, hidden. Action, exhaust him, deal up to 2 damage. Heal up to 2 damage from a unit. If you do, deal that much damage to a unit. You heal your guys that you brought in with Han 2's ability that have 2 damage on them. You heal that damage, you deal it to somebody else. Grogu makes your red Han's ability basically free, and it gives you the ability to transfer that damage to enemy units or to your own units if you want to grit something up. This is like, you do not resource Grogu. You play Grogu on turn 1 with Red Han's ability. I know most people don't call him Red Han, by the way, but like Han Classic and Red Han are what we're going to say in this one, because I don't know, calling him Young Han just doesn't seem right. In any case, you play Grogu. This is a card, you see it in your opening hand, you play it turn 1, and you feel good about it. Ogdo Bogdo. Oh. Of course, Ogdo Bogdo, another fantastic turn 1 play. 5/5, can't attack unless it's damaged. When it attacks and defeats a unit, heal 2 damage from this unit. You play it for 2 resources with Red Han, and then you can attack with it. And you can attack for 5 on your next turn. So you could either use it to steamroll over other people's units and heal it, or you just go right to base. Either way, Ogdo Bogdo is a menace. Ugh, love it. Love it so much. Rafa Martez. When played and on attack, deal 1 damage to a friendly unit and ready a resource. So this just enables more of that resource cheating that we were talking about. You can play more of your stuff. If you have anything that needs to be defeated, you can use Rafa to say, oh, well, we have Uncle Owen already has 2 damage on it. Well, now we play Ratha. She deals a damage to Owen. We get to ready a resource. We get to play more stuff. And ideally, we're hopefully drawing a few extra cards here and there. So we can afford to play those extra things. I love Ratha. I think she just, she is so neat in this format for helping you get the most out of your limited resources. Tech. Of course, we got to have tech. Tech, you can play him on your first turn with 2 damage on him, giving you that smuggle for all your stuff. Unfortunately, Red Han's ability does not extend to smuggle. It's only things that are in your hand. But tech does give you that flexibility that I've mentioned again and again that smuggle gives you, where you can just play stuff out of your resource row. I'm very interested to see how plot and how smuggle start coexisting in Twin Suns once Secrets of Power comes out. So it'll be kind of cool to revisit these decks once we kind of see how all those cards end up shaking out. Vernestra row, oh my gosh. When played, you may use the Force. If you do, ready this unit. So getting a ready unit is always powerful in Twin Suns, especially on turns where people are scrambling to do math. And Vernestra is especially good because not only can you ready her, but you can swing with her, get the Force, and it's like you're ready to do more Force stuff with somebody else. You can play her for cheap if you need to. I think she's just solid. Holding on to her for later on isn't the worst thing either, even though, as you're going to see, we're going to have tons of good stuff that we play later on, because the cost curve for this is a little bit skewed because we want to use Red Han's ability so much to play our things. We've barely got, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 traditional turn 1 plays, because a lot of our turn 1 plays are 3 cost units. Vernestra is not. Obviously, Vernestra is highly situational and we need to have the Force, but this deck, like all of our stuff, kind of tends to be 1 resource or more than what we're used to using in other Twin Suns lists. Watto. Okay, so Watto, he's a big butt guy that you can play on turn 1 with Red Han. You can do 2 damage to him. He's still got plenty of juice left to squeeze. On attack, an opponent chooses 1. You give an experience token to a friendly unit. That can include Watto, or you draw a card. Both of those choices suck. And I say this again and again. I said it in the last video I put out. Anytime you make someone else make a decision, that's 1 decision more on the pile. We want to contribute towards decision fatigue. The more you make people think, the more chances you give them to make mistakes. You can't lose with Watto. Getting experience or card draw, they're both good. So having him out early and spreading the love around is just chef's kiss. The Worcester Tree Tender, it's a 2/4 with grit that you can play already gritted up. So you play this with Red Han for 2 resources. It's got 2 damage. You're ready to hit with it for 4 right away. And also, we like Wookiees here. Yoda, another 3 cost that we can play for 2. He's got Restore 2, and when defeated, choose any number of players. They each draw a card. Well, we want that card. We might be willing to give cards to other people too for being our friend temporarily. So I love that Yoda encourages that pitting people against each other, like saying, oh, well, you're my golden boy over here, so you can have a card. You screwed with me and kept capturing my Grogu, so you get nothing. So I think this is a way that you can pit people against each other too. Love it. And again, it's one of those things where people have to make the decision that if Yoda comes in with damage on him, do they kill him? Restore 2 sucks. The Force generation sucks. But knowing that you get card draw when Yoda dies also sucks. So it's just, it's more delicious decision fatigue. Ahsoka chasing Whispers. When played, an opponent discards a card from their hand. If it's a unit, you may exhaust a unit. Ahsoka's a good, strong unit. just on her own, and the fact that you can pick someone to make the awful choice of what to discard is extra good. I wish she impacted more people, but I think she's a really solid unit in the 4 position. And if there's somebody that you think is gearing up to be more of a threat, you can specifically single them out with her when she comes out. Champs and Doula. Oh, I think this is such a cool card. So because of Classic Han's ability to put a resource into play, you can, if you have Champs and Doula, skip playing a resource if you want to play Cham. Make sure you'll have at least 4, because chances are everyone else is resourced, so then you can put Cham into play. You'll get a resource off the top of your deck, and then if you need another one, you can use Han Classic in order to cross a threshold. And in this case, it would be the threshold to deploying both of them, because you need at least 4 to play Cham, unless you're playing them at 3 with damage on them. This is like a fun, neat trick you can do with this deck, depending on what kinds of stuff you have in your hand. Are you trying to be aggressive? Do you want to say, well, I'll just play a bunch of little guys right here and see how that goes? Because remember, let's do the math here. If you have 4 resources, everyone else has 5. You play Cham, now you have 5. You use the Han Solo ability, the Han Classic ability, to put a resource into play. You have 6 resources, one of them is ready. Now you can deploy both of your Hans. If you deploy your Classic Han and swing with them, now you have 2 ready resources. So you could, in theory, use the other Han Solo to play something that costs up to 3 for only 2 resources. So not only did you get a 5-4 for 4 out on that turn, but you also get a 3 cost out, and you get both of your leaders out while everyone else is at 5. Could be a pretty cool turn. So the reason that skipping a resource can be cool sometimes is it gives you a little bit of extra stuff in your hand to think, oh, well, okay, I could use this later. This is a better card to use as a resource. It just gives you more flexibility in terms of what cards do you think you're going to need going forward, and to cultivate your hand a little bit more. Let's see. Chirrut. Chirrut. He's a 3/5 Sentinel, and he's got his cool, when this unit is attacked, you may use the Force. If you do, the attacker gets -2/-0 for this attack. He's so good. He's just like an amazingly great Sentinel unit. His ability to debuff is extremely strong. He's, of course, not as powerful in Twin Suns, because it's going to take longer to get back around to you to get the Force, but he's still great. He's still a big roadblock for everyone else to have to deal with. Itinerant Warrior. If you've played against, if you've played against the stupid Han Red Blue Force deck, this is one of those cards that is a nightmare to deal with. And I mean, it's very good for that reason. So Itinerant Warrior, it's worth reminding everyone that if you are using the Red Han Solo's ability to cheat stuff out, you do his ability in full first, meaning you pay 1 less for the unit, you deal 2 damage to it. That happens before any when played effects. And since Shielded is a when play effect for the Itinerant Warrior, it goes, you pay 3 for the Itinerant Warrior, you put 2 damage on her, and then you put the shield on her, and then you can use the Force to heal damage. I mean, the shield and the when played Force bit you can do in whatever order, but the important thing is she still is the shield. So getting the heal, getting a unit that does that amount of damage, and having a shield is awesome. Like, that is so good for 3. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Yes. This is another one of those cards you absolutely want to keep in your hand if you think you can have the Force. Kiadi Mundi. This Kiadi Mundi, when played, you may use the Force if you do draw 2 cards. So hopefully you were able to get a Force unit out on your first turn. A Lizard, a Night Sister, Grogu. It might be worth actually even attacking with the 1/6 3-cost Grogu to get the Force. because playing Kiadimundi for 3 with damage on him, using the force to draw cards is awesome, because then those cards can be turned into resources with classic Han. They're just more options for playing things. It's very cool. Like, this is such a good card with the Han, with both Han Solos and Force. Luke, a hero's beginning. Of course, we're playing a Force deck. It's got a lot of unique guys in it. So when you play another unique unit with this Luke, you may use the Force. If you do, give an experience token and a shield to this unit. So in Twin Suns, removal's not as consistent. This Luke can get just big. He can be big Luke and get out of hand. So we want to encourage things to get out of hand. Anakin, Maverick, Mentor. If you're paying 4 for Anakin, I think he's pretty good. For a 6/6, even if he's got 2 damage on him and he's got the coordinate on attack, draw a card, which we should hopefully get our coordinate working, because we should be able to play a pretty good amount of units per turn, since we can cheat out a resource if we absolutely have to, and we can already naturally play below curve because we have the, we can play above the curve because we can get something in for 1 less. So I think Anakin here will help us refill our reserves if we burn some cards earlier trying to get him out. Han Solo has his moments. The pilot Han. Oh my God, I have some more Hans in here, right? It's a 4/5 with ambush for 5, or piloting for 2. When played as an upgrade, you may attack with attached unit. If it's the Millennium Falcon, it deals its combat damage before the defender. There is 1 Falcon in here, so that part's not going to be as relevant, but a 4/5 ambush, if we need to pay 4 for him, is still pretty good. And of course, he's just one of the best pilots in the game, just giving you the action compression, getting to play something, to beef something up and attack with it the same turn is just fantastic. It's too bad that since you play him as an upgrade, if he's a pilot, you don't get the ability to get the cost reduction from the Red Han, but he's still real good. So if you've got a ship, if you've got a vehicle, this is worth saving for that. Kiadimundi, Composed and Confidence. The other Kiadimundi is a 5/7 for 5, and if you play him at a discount for 4 to get him with 2 damage, that's pretty good too. Coordinate. When an opponent plays their second card each phase, you may draw 2 cards. In a format where we've got 3 opponents, that is a lot of cards, y'all. Oh my goodness, we want that so much. We want a big butted Jedi out on turn 2 or turn 3, depending on how bad do we want him. I think Kiadi is so great with the 2 Hans. You gotta have Poe quick to improvise. Like, if you can play him for 4 and basically get like a liter's worth of stats plus his on attack to discard cards to directly damage a unit or a base, defeat an upgrade, make someone discard. Yeah, we don't want to burn too many cards with the discards, but he's going to hit like a truck regardless. And if you can get him out early, then he's going to do so much work for you. And of course, force everyone else to jump through hoops to get rid of him. The Daughter, embodiment of light. When damage is dealt to your base, you may use the force. If you do, heal 2 damage from your base. So as long as we can hit with our force stuff enough and keep getting the force, the Daughter is going to help buffer anything else that people do to us. And also, the Daughter pretty much negates the blast token and actually lets you heal from it. So I think that's really cool if you have the force when you think someone else is going to blast. Anakin Skywalker, Champion of Mortis. Okay, so Anakin's just going to be one of those cards that I think goes in every deck that has blue forever. When played, if there is a heroism card in your discard pile, you may give a unit -3/-3 for this phase. When played, if there is a villain card in your discard pile, you may give a unit -3/-3 for this phase. So in this deck, we have very few scant amount of villain cards because we're not playing villainous. We are able to cheat resources. So if we need to play these few cards out of aspect, we can. But the main cool thing about this is if you have Power of the Dark Side in your hand, you can use Classic Han's ability to put that card into play as a resource. And then you can just put it in your discard pile because that's the one that you're going to defeat. So if you have Anakin, you can cultivate a discard pile that's going to allow him to debuff more things at once. And I think that's a really cool feature of the classic Yellow Han, is being able to configure your discard pile to maximize the use of this. So yeah, like it's like you're most of the time going to be resourcing the few villain cards here, but there is a little bit of utility with them otherwise, because like I said, we don't necessarily feel bad about paying the aspect tax for something like Power of the Dark Side if it's going to, kill something. Cargo Juggernaut. We love the Cargo Juggernaut here. It's a 4/6 shielded. So again, like the Itinerant Warrior, you play it, it gets 2 damage on it, it gets its shield. Hopefully you've got another Vigilance unit. You heal from your base. That's good eats, y'all. And getting this Chonkus out for 5 is really good. Putting the Han pilot on it would feel real good. Love the War Juggernaut. Like, y'all know I love the War Juggernaut. This goes into so many of my Twin Suns decks. Excuse me, the Cargo Juggernaut. Gentle Giant. It's a Wookiee. It's a 2/8 with grit, so we can play it with damage on it with Red Han. And then on attack, you may heal damage from another unit equal to the damage on this unit. Our guys are going to be damaged because Red Han has been playing stuff at a discount with damage on it. This is one of those cards that if you can get it out early, you can start healing your guys up. It can get damage dealt to it. You can use Grogu to grit it way the heck up before it swings on something. And the more damage is on the Wookiee means the more damage that the Wookiee can heal. So it's kind of interesting the way this works with some of the other abilities. This is not a bad card to think about, well, maybe I should use Han Classic to get another resource out so that we can get this out early. Grill Attack Pod. Oh my goodness. This card. 4/6 with grit. When played, if the base has 15 or more damage on it, ready this unit. Of course, we can grit it up and have it swing in for 6 immediately. This is one that I think you hang on to until you see the right time to play it, because having the ability to do 6 to somebody's base can absolutely decide a game. And as much as I'd like to say, turn 3, you use one Han to cheat a resource out and the other Han to play this, it's not going to come in ready, most likely on turn 3. And it's going to, on turn 2, right? Am I doing math? 3 resources, 4 resources. No, it would be turn 3. I don't think anyone's going to have 15 damage on turn 3. So this is just a good one to keep in the wings and use it when you absolutely need it. Mace Windu leaping into action. You know him, you love him. He uses the Force to deal damage to a unit when he comes into play. He's got Overwhelm. If you can get him out early, he's going to do so much work for you. And he can still hit base because of the Overwhelm. Like Mace is so good. And being that we have so many Force units doing good Force work for us, we should be able to get the damage from Mace to remove something at the same time as we get our unit out. Obi-Wan Kenobi following Fate. So 4/6 Sentinel, when defeated, give 2 experience tokens to another friendly unit. If it's a Force unit, draw a card. Likely Obi-Wan's going to be out while you have 1 or more Han leaders out. Likely you're going to be playing him with damage on him. And again, who wants to swing into an Obi-Wan who is then going to buff your other stuff? It's another one of those, okay, no, I'm gonna hit that person that doesn't have a Sentinel because I don't want to deal with this Obi-Wan over here. I love that there's plenty of units that are in this deck that if they're damaged, that's fine. You don't care. You kind of want them to die because you just get benefits from that. Plo Koon, I don't believe in chance. You pay 5 for him. You grit him up. Like, come on, y'all. Like, Plo Koon is such a tank. Even a little bit of damage on him, like, he can swing for 8. This is a unit where if you have 4 resources out, it's probably worth it to use both Han's abilities to get him out that turn, because people are going to have a hard time answering the giant chonkus that is Plo Koon. War Juggernaut, you know it, you love it. It's an absolute beast of a unit in Twin Suns. Being able to play it early is awesome. Putting damage on every other unit is awesome. It's just, like, this thing is so great. This thing is so great. Love the War Juggernaut. And, of course, it can damage itself when it comes out, but you're already going to be damaging it to get it out early. So, like, the best of both worlds, I guess, maybe. I mean, it's kind of 7-sized butt. Its butt is big enough to be able to dish, to handle the punishment you're dishing out with it. Let's see. Enfys Nest. Oh my gosh. So the first time I played against a classic Han Blue Force deck, Enfys Nest came out. Like, as someone that doesn't really play competitively, I was just like, oh, that's so cool. Like, the earlier you can get her out, the more she can influence the board. As a 5/7 saboteur, she can just slip around anywhere, hit base, but when played and on attack, you may return an enemy non-leader unit with less power than this unit to its owner's hand. That's just absolute bananas with her. Like, the earlier you can get her swinging, the more you can say, no, get rid of that. Get rid of that. And also saboteur, go on to base. Suckers, like, yeah, she's just so good. This is absolutely another one where getting her out early is going to be incredible. Also, thanks for bearing with me with all my tabs here, y'all. Like, I'm not used to the pictures being so itty bitty. All right, we got Han Solo, Reluctant Hero. He's a 6/6 ambush while attacking. This unit deals combat damage before the defender. He just comes in, swings like a truck, probably kills something. It's fine to bring him in with some damage because he's likely just going to hit something and kill it and not take damage back anyway. Great higher end card in this deck. And, like, yeah, like, we need as many Hans as possible, right? Oh, yeah, it's Luke. It's Luke. Okay, we put Luke in there. Oh. Like, Luke's too good. What are you going to do? Luke is just too good. 6/7 restore 3 when played. Give an enemy unit -3/-3 for this phase. If a friendly unit was defeated this phase, give that enemy unit -6/-6 for this phase instead. So you're likely going to kill something with Luke. Being able to get him out at 6 is still pretty good because he's got a pretty sizable butt. And being able to play Luke essentially on your 5 resource turn, or, well, let's hold on. We got to do the math again. On your 4 resource turn, right? Because you can, on 4 resources, no, it has to be on your 5 resource turn because you need the 2 extra from Han. In any case, it's still real good getting Luke out a couple turns early. No one's going to be able to deal with him. That restore 3 is a huge game changer. Also, he gets you the Force. He's just so good. Luminara Unduli. She is so great in Twin Suns. So another big top-end chonkus Force unit. 4/9. She's got grit when coordinate is on. When played, choose a base. Heal 1 damage from it for each unit you control. I mean, she's going to get you some heals, which is good. She's going to come in with some damage so you can grit her up. I think it's another one of those great units to cheat out early. Absolutely worth using classic Han's ability to get an extra resource from your hand. Mace Windu Party Crasher. I mean, again and again, Mace, you might not want to cheat him out with the discount and damage, but I think he could be worth with the resource cheating with Yellow Han. because you can just clean up the board with them. You can ambush them into something little and then attack a base with them. So this is another good one that you hold on to when it's late game. And you're like, oh, well, I can hit someone else's base for 5 damage because I can kill this little weenie guy over here. Like, Mace is so good. He's just so good. Qui-Gon, the negotiations will be short. 7/5 with ambush. When defeated, you may choose a non-leader ground unit. Its owner puts it on the top or bottom of their deck. I think they get to choose there. I'm guessing that, yeah, the owner of the unit chosen decides. So it would be even cooler if you got to decide, but still, you're getting rid of it for the time being, or enabling them to play it again. So, like, there's some negotiation here with Qui-Gon. And if he survives enough to do 7 damage to something, that's also pretty good too. But Qui-Gon is another one of those units where if you bring him in early, get some damage on him, then people have to make decisions about what are they going to do? Do we let Qui-Gon live? Do we not? Chewbacca Pike's Bane. Unfortunately, the smuggle, again, can't be discounted with Red Han, but it's still another option if you get to 9 resources. He's got grit. When played, you may defeat a unit with 5 or less remaining HP, so you can play this at 7 resources. You can grit him up with the other Han. You can make him real big right out of the starting gate. Like Chewie's going to do good work for us in this deck. Like, it's another one of those, like, behemoth cards where it's like, what do you even do if someone plays a Chewie early on because they're able to cheat stuff out? I love it. And, of course, the Crate Dragon. Oh, my gosh, the Crate Dragon. No one wants to see this get played. No one wants this, okay? So the Crate Dragon, you can play this on your 6 resource turn because 6 resources. You put a resource into your hand with Han before you deploy him. Now you have 7. You deploy that Han Classic, swing with him. Now you have 8, and then you use the other Han's ability to play the Crate Dragon with 2 damage on it. This is what I mean by explosive deploy turns, where you get essentially 3 extra resources for a unit that's in your hand. And having a Crate Dragon out at 6 resources, well, you do want to make sure that no one's going to immediately rivals fall it, but that's like their whole turn, y'all. And they still take 6 damage to something. Like, 3 resource early crate. Like, this is why this stupid Red Han deck is so good with the early Crate Dragons. But, you know, when you're the one that plays it, it's real cool. So, yeah, of course, got to have the Crate Dragon in there. And then we got a handful of space units. So Mining Guild TIE Fighter. You can't use Red Han's ability to play this because it will instantly kill it. But you can pay extra resources to draw cards, which can be an advantage if you've got nothing else going on. Maybe you played something at a discount. You saved a little bit of resources. You're like, okay, maybe I just draw cards with this one and fatten your coffers up. So when it's time to do your giant Crate Dragon turn, you've got the extra cards for it. Padawan Starfighter, when you control a Force unit or Force upgrade, this gets +1/+1. We're going to have a lot of those. This is a Force emphasizing deck, so this is a pretty good value for your buck. And if you are later in turn order, you might just play this with Red Han. It's almost dead, but as long as you can get a Force unit out, then it's going to be a little bit harder to deal with because a lot of people play very ground-focused decks in Twin Suns and just sort of ignore space, and this is a good way of punishing people that are ignoring space and don't have the ability to ping. Concord Dawn Interceptors, you know them, you love them. It's a classic Sentinel in space that doesn't look very threatening. Of course, the whole +2/+0 while defending discourages people from attacking into it. That's great. This is one of those cards that you want to have every single time you play this game. It is such a good deterrent. I have had people ignore my space the entire game because I had this stupid card clogging up the works. So good. Landing Shuttle. This is a great one to play at a discount with Red Han. 2/4, when defeated, you may draw a card because, again, people don't want you to draw that card, but also they don't want to necessarily let it live either. More decision fatigue, more hijinks. Card draw is great for Yellow Han. Piece of junk. I mean, yeah. Oh, I caved. I bought one. Oh my gosh. It's so good. It's so good. Anything that can come in ready is so good. It's good early. If you're cheating resources out, it's great. If you're playing it at a discount with damage on it, that's fine too, because it can go back to your hand. It's just such a good card for early game to get damage in. It's a great card for late game to squeeze a little extra damage in. And of course, if you happen to have the Han pilot, oh my gosh. So good. Yeah, like the of course there's a Falcon. We're playing Hans, you need the Falcon. Red Squadron X-Wing. When played, you may deal 2 damage to this unit if you do draw a card. This does mean that you could play this to essentially say, I need a card. I'm going to play this for 2 resources to draw a card, and then it dies. It's not like the best thing, but ping 3 to draw a card is decent. And it gets you a unit on the board, so also not bad. Sabine's Masterpiece, like, yeah, we gotta have Sabine's Masterpiece. We're gonna get everything but the command effect on here, so the ability to heal damage from a base, deal damage to a unit or base, or exhaust a ready resource. All these are super good. Sabine's Masterpiece in Twin Suns is just fantastic. It's such a good, flexible ship. It gets you so many good things. Sanctioner Shuttle. You know it. You love it. It's the uncommon from Twilight that does more work than anything else from that set. Coordinate. When played, this unit captures an enemy non-leader unit that costs 3 or less. So just a way for you to assert control over the rest of the board. You get a unit, someone else loses one. I think it's a good trade. It's a nice tempo loss early on for somebody else because, well, a 3 or less cost is likely going to be a turn 1 or turn 2 play. Maybe they're like, oh, it's Twin Suns, there's not that much removal, I'm going to put upgrades on it. And you're like, no, Sanctioner Shuttle, I only care about cost. Haha. Senatorial Corvette. This is one of my pet cards for Twin Suns. Love the Senatorial Corvette. You can play this at 4 with Red Han's ability. It's a 5/4 Saboteur. When defeated, each opponent discards a card from their hand. So you get this out early. Great. People are not going to want to kill it because it's going to force discard, but also it's a Saboteur. You can probably get some hits in with it before it dies. So good. The ability to ignore the Sentinels, so good. Tactical Heavy Bomber. On attack, deal indirect damage equal to this unit's power to the defending player. If a base is damaged this way, draw a card. So this is another one of those units that it's like, I feel like I love. And I want more people to love it as much as me. So if we play this at 4 resources, it'll have damage on it, yes. But I think getting that 1 extra turn in space with this really helps it do a good job. So on attack, you'll deal at least 3 indirect damage. You still deal your 3 damage to either the base or whatever you're attacking, but you have the potential of getting card draw. If people are like, oh, I don't want my units to get damaged, then, then they could die. So I know a lot of people, myself included, default to indirect damage, put it on the base, I'll be fine. Well, that's another decision. Decisions. We've said it a bunch of times. This deck kind of encourages decision fatigue. This is definitely a card where someone will say, do I want you to draw a card? Do I want my units to get hurt? And someone else will kill them. Blah. Love it. And, maybe you'll get a pilot on there. The 1 pilot in the deck. Well, there's other ways of increasing its power when it swings. The black 1. Yeah, we're playing this black 1 in this deck. When played and when defeated, you may discard your hand if you do draw 3 cards. Well, you know what? We're going to pay this at we're going to pay 5 for this. And we're going to do it after we've cheated out as many cards as possible from our hand. So we're going to try to get extra resources with Han's other ability. So we drain our hand completely, discard stuff, draw 3 cards, ... profit. As long as we have more cards than when we started, we're doing a real good job with this. So yeah, like stat-wise, it's not amazing, but if we can get it undercosted and use it to replenish our hand, I think that's a pretty good deal with this deck. Rebellious Hammerhead, kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum. 5/7, when played, you may deal damage to a unit equal to the number of cards in your hand. So if we've been getting some card draw with the Kiadi-Mundi or the other Kiadi-Mundi or some of the card draw cards that we're going to see later, then this is going to be a good way of just shooting something really good and getting a little bit of, we get removal plus a unit at the same time. It's got a big old 7 butt, so if we play this for 5 with the discount, it doesn't feel too bad getting a little bit of damage on it. Okay, we got some events. We got Covert Strength. Of course, we've got Covert Strength. Heal 2 damage from a unit and give an experience token to it. A lot of our units are going to have damage on them, so this is great. We can smuggle it in for 3. We get that smuggle flexibility. So good. Desperate Attack. Oh yeah, we're doing Desperate Attack here. Attack with a damaged unit. We're going to have damaged units. It gets +2/+0 for this attack. You do this with the Tactical Heavy Bomber, you're talking 5 indirect and 5 regular damage. Oh yeah, yes please. I want that. Force Lightning, it's one of our few villainy things. I think paying 3 for Force Lightning plus whatever number of resources is great. Choose a unit, it loses all abilities for this phase. Then if you control a force unit, pay any number of resources and deal 2 damage to the chosen unit for each resource paid this way. So yeah, this is like, because we'll have so many force units, aspect tax doesn't hurt as much, especially if there's like a huge problem unit that we don't want to deal with. Maybe someone's got a Chariot, it's got Sentinel. We're like, oh, I don't want to deal with that. And Force Lightning gives us that ability to bypass it a little bit. And also, it's another villain card for Anakin to get saucy with, to get his extra -3/-3. You know what? You love it. Force Throw. Who gets banned cards? We get banned cards in this one, baby. Oh, what does that say? Premier not legal. Oh, Twin Suns legal? You don't say. Choose a player. That player discards a card from their hand. Then if you control a force unit, you may deal damage to a unit equal to the cost of the discarded card. So, yeah, this card is a huge feels bad, man, in Premier. In Twin Suns, it still sucks, but it's not as bad because it's like, yeah, you can only have 1 of them in your deck instead of 3. And I think it's such a good, I'll keep this up my sleeve for late game card. I don't think people are going to use this early on to hurt other people's hands tempo-wise in Twin Suns, because if you act like a jerk too early in this format, other people just gang up on you. So it's kind of like, I feel like this card sort of is balanced by the format. It still feels real satisfying to, like, if you don't have any other options, you can throw a Crate Dragon at someone. But we're hoping to actually play that Crate Dragon. In any case, Force Throw is a tremendous way to either rip something out of someone else's hand or throw one of your big chonkuses at someone else. And we're going to have plenty of chonkuses because we have more higher cost units, because we're anticipating being able to get them out earlier than most people. Moment of Peace. Give a shield token to a unit. Our units really appreciate that. Many of them will come in damaged. Repair, again, heal 3 damage from a unit or base. It gives you some flexibility. You play this on the last round of the game when everyone's fiercely doing math. It's going to throw off people's math. Shin Flurry. We got lots of force units. Unfortunately, you can't couple this with the Han Red discount, but being able to give ambush to a force unit and prevent damage to it is pretty dang good. We have so many units in here that are going to like that sort of thing, that just getting to ambush something out, as we've seen with people running ECL, as we've seen with people running timely intervention, I think Shin Flurry is a super solid card to have in this deck, just to immediately hit with one of your force units. Bamboozle, in addition to one of my favorite arts in the game, it's just a super useful card. Being able to play it for free by discarding card is awesome. Exhausting a unit and returning each upgrade on it to owner's hand, also really good. This, of course, gets rid of pilots, just instantly kills pilot leaders. Love this card, because as you can see, we're not running Confiscate in here, but this essentially does, well, I mean, it does enough of the same thing. Cripple Authority, this is another one of those fun resource juggle cards, so you can skip your resourcing if you've got enough extra cards to throw out with Yellow Han. Pay 2, draw a card. Each opponent who controls more resources than you discards a card from their hand. It's such a nasty card in Twin Suns. I don't think you can play it in like most other decks. I think it works in this one. Just because you can appear to have less resources, but then say, nope, we're going to draw a card. I can resource. Everything's fine. But man, that art is laughably, amazingly bad. Love it. Can AI do that? I don't think so. Do or do not. We're going to have the force a lot. Do or do not. We pay 2. You may use the force. If you do, draw 2 cards. If you do not, draw a card. So at worst, it cycles itself, but ideally we'll use this to get 2 cards, which is great. We want those cards to be resources, to be options. Heck yeah. It binds all things. Heal up to 3 damage from a unit. If you control a force unit, which we probably will, you may deal that much damage to another unit. Again, our guys are going to be damaged. We'll take that damage. We'll throw it onto something else, or we'll put it onto Chewbacca Pikesbane. We'll put it on Luminara. We'll put it on Plo Koon. So many good options for putting it on our grit guys or just using it against someone else. Love this card. Open Fire. Just, it's Open Fire. Classic. 4 damage for 3 resources. Sometimes you just gotta have regular removal, and that one certainly does it. Power the Dark Side. It costs 5 in this deck. Still a useful card at 5 if you have no other options and somebody has one thing that they are just like going out of control with. But honestly, yeah, this is in here to make Anakin better. So chances are you can probably resource this, but every once in a while I think it'll be useful. Now, Shatterpoint, on the other hand, this is always useful here because we're likely going to have the force. So you can either, for 4 resources, defeat a non-leader unit with 3 or less remaining HP, or just use the force to defeat a non-leader unit. So if you have the force, this is a rival's fault. No, excuse me, it's a vanquish for 1 less. So we like that. And we like Mace Windu here, so it's extra good. It's takedown. Takedown's still good. Defeat a unit with 5 or less remaining HP. Again, it's just good classic basic removal. You need it. It's the meat and potatoes of a deck. The force is with me. Madame Zola, I see you. Choose a friendly unit and give 2 experience tokens to it. If you control a force unit, also give a shield token to the chosen unit. You may attack with the chosen unit. Well, this is just great. Our guys are going to be damaged. So, yeah, we'll put some experience on them. We're going to have a force unit, so we'll probably be able to get a shield out and attack with something. This does so much for 4 resources. It's just awful it's just awful when somebody plays this and gets all of the stuff all at once. Bombing Run. We don't have a whole lot in space, so likely this is going to be we're going to hit space for 3 damage, but we also have a lot of shields in here. Maybe we'll shield everything up. We'll Bombing Run. It's just a good way of just clearing the board somewhat. And Rival's Fall. Just defeat a unit. Any unit. Whatever it is. We got removal. Removal's useful sometimes. Sometimes you just got to Rival's Fall something if it's just too difficult to deal with. Okay, we got some upgrades. We got a Hotshot Blaster. Of course we got Hotshot Blaster. We're running yellow. We're running red. You can play it for 1 on something, or you can smuggle it in whenever you please for 3. But when you smuggle with it, you get to attack with what you put it on. So good. because we've been playing bigger units ahead of the curve, then being able to attack with a bigger unit for even more the next turn. Like, what if we bring out Plo Koon, already damaged? Plo Koon's going to swing for 8. He'll swing for 10 with a hotshot blaster on him. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. God willing, maybe we can put on a crate dragon. Heck yeah. Jedi Holocron, we're going to have damaged guys. This says attach it to a force unit. Attached unit gains on attack. You may heal 3 damage from another unit. It gets a slight buff. We can heal our guys. Also, force sensitive Bith. I thought these guys were just musicians. Like, what's the deal with this guy? I want to know, who's the force sensitive Bith? Why don't we have a card for force sensitive Bith? Brutal Traditions. It's one of our few villainous cards. Action: if an enemy unit was defeated this phase, play this upgrade from your discard pile, paying its cost, and it's a +1/+2. So we have a little flexibility in, we'll have a 4-cost upgrade that can slightly buff one of our guys. If we're real desperate, it may mean the difference between life and death for one of our units, especially in the end game when every little tick of damage helps, or it's possible just one little bit of damage will turn the tide in our direction. But also, this is mostly here for Anakin. But I like that it's something that you can resource, defeat the resource with Han if you absolutely need to, and then say, oh, well, I can get it out of the discards too. So, like, it's kind of a cool add-on in this deck for a couple of reasons. Entrenched, you know it, you love it. It says, hey, that space unit's not going anywhere. That Boba Fett on a Fett's fire spray is not going anywhere. That, I don't know, that Crate Dragon, well, that's probably not, hopefully the Crate Dragon doesn't get entrenched. Ugh, that's just awful. Heirloom Lightsaber, attached to a non-vehicle unit. If the attached unit is a force unit, it gains Restore 1 and a +2/+2. This is great. Again, a lot of our guys are going to have 2 damage on it, so this will essentially bring them up to where they were. Getting the Restore is nice. Getting the extra +2 is great. It's just, it's a solid upgrade for 2. And Constructed Lightsaber, attached to a force unit. We've got lots of those. If it's a hero, it gains Restore 2. We don't have any villains in here. If it is not hero or villain, it gets Sentinel and a +2/+3. I don't think you can lose with this. I think no matter what you put this on, it's going to be good in this deck. Sentinels stop stuff from getting in. Ors, the Restore means if something does get in, it's less of a big deal. And then the Jedi Lightsaber, attached to a non-vehicle unit. If attached unit is a force unit, it gains on attack. Give the defender -2/-2 for this phase, so we can attack and debuff. And we just get a +3/+3. So I think it's kind of cool having a few more upgrades to make our guys beefy, a little bit more survivable after doing some mean things to them to get them out. So yeah, there you have it. That's my super meta combined, let's stick every card that I hate playing against in one deck and see how it goes. What'd y'all think? Does this make me meta and sweaty now playing this deck? Do you want to play this deck? I think it's pretty cool. I've played it a few times in real life, and it's done surprisingly well. So maybe, I guess, Han Solo's is good or whatever. Anyway, if there's any other cards that you would suggest putting in here, I'd love to hear them. In real life, I'm not using Luke in it because he's in another deck that I'm going to have a video out on soon as well. And I don't feel like swapping them in between them the whole time. But yeah, until I get that video done, I look forward to hearing your comments on this one. And yeah, let's do this again sometime.